This episode of Shomin Sample, damn, I got a good laugh out of it. Like, the second half, or actually, kind of the firstish, or majority of the episode, actually, it was kind of focused around Aika getting tricked into dressing up into this outfit, this, like, Gits outfit. And I'm going to be honest, I don't really understand the joke, because I'm not one to go out of my way to watch comedians, or, you know, just a gagman. I'm not one to actually do that, and I'm not really familiar with this gag or joke, and honestly speaking, as I've always said, comedy is subjective, and also if you don't understand the joke, you might not be able to appreciate the quality of said joke if you do not understand it. So since I am technically unaware of this Gits type thing, I really had that joke just fly over my head. But that doesn't mean this episode is bad in any way. It's just I was unable to comprehend the joke because of my lack of understanding for that said joke. But it was still funny nonetheless of how Kimito was able to trick Aika and everybody in the entire school with this one get-up. How they all dressed up in the suits, they were doing gits and doing a little spin and stuff. I couldn't help but laugh because you realize how much damage Kimito could cause if he did something wrong. Like, imagine Kimito if he was a bad guy. Like, I mean, a very corrupt individual. Like, if he wanted to manipulate everybody, he could make them do some crazy shit, like, really fucked up crazy shit, and they would think that's what commoners do. And I mean, with how he could do stuff like this, and with one action with Aika of how he shows her, like, oh, this is what commoners do to greet each other, and if he used to do something fucked up, and Aika was to go show it to everybody, imagine how the school would just be screwed over. So, I mean, Kimito is in a very dangerous situation. You don't really realize that until you actually see this episode, because his actions of him joking around could cause something really bad to happen. I mean, look, Aika was a girl that was thinking that she could stop time. So, I mean, if she could think that, everybody else is going to think that. So, I mean, if that could happen, Kimito is in a dangerous spot. Very dangerous. But, let's move into the second half, because, you know, the Gits joke just flew over my head. And if you know the joke, or if you understand that joke, actually, please clarify in the comments below. I'd like to understand that joke a lot more, if you do know about it, Chibits. But, moving into the second half of the episode, the second half, we have it to where the girls are trying to be more masculine. For instance, Kimito starts talking on the phone with his childhood friend, and when he's talking to her, he's putting on this fake act of muscles, like, I don't want to be here, and one thing leads to another to where, you know, the girls misunderstand what Kimito is trying to say, and so they try to be more like a man. They try to dress up like a dude, they try to act and speak like a dude. I mean, they try to make themselves smell like a dude, like covering themselves in meat sauce. I couldn't help but, like, what the fuck? Like, really? So when you think of men, you think they smell like meat. Like, it's fucked up. That's really fucked up. That's a little bit fucked up, but okay, let's just, you know, let's roll with it. Let's fucking roll with it. So you have it to where the comedy of how these girls that have too much time on their hands, they dress up to look like a guy, and then they go off to talk to Kimito. And there was just so much comedy in that, I couldn't help but think, like, you know that line that you shouldn't cross? Like, there's a line to where you should just stop. Well, these girls, they didn't stop. They went straight past that line going 150 miles per hour. They didn't fucking stop. They just kept flooring right through that line. And they're like, fuck this shit, keep going. And that's exactly what happened. Because they should have stopped at the outfit, dressing up with muscles. And then we see this, like, hairstyle to the meat sauce. I mean, there was some crazy shit in this episode. Now, one thing I want to point out was the fan service. Damn. That maid fan service. Once again, best girl. Fucking best girl. Like, that scene, the way I interpret that scene at the beginning of the episode with the maid is two different reasons. Now, we know the maid is doing something to Kimito every time he wakes. For instance, she's kissing him. And we don't know necessarily if that's because she loves Kimito, or if she's kissing him because she thinks he's gay. For instance, she would think that she's able to practice on him because she thinks he's gay and he has no interest in her, so she would think she can get away with that and it wouldn't matter much at all. And so, there's two ways to view that scene with the way she acted and walked away. Because normally in a harem or any type of fan servicey series, when a character falls down on top of a girl, I've seen it quite a bit, and I think all of us have seen it at the very least once in our time of watching anime. When a main character falls on top of a girl, usually that said girl does fucking slaps him, fucking just backhands his ass, and you see this big whelp on his face, and then we carry on to the next scene. And I've seen that quite enough. And when you saw how he fell down, I expected that type of scene. But we didn't get it. And that leaves a lot of questions. For one, did she walk off because she thought he was gay? For instance, because she thinks he's gay, she just realized, like, oh, he accidentally did it. Oh, I understand, she just walked off. Or number two, was she fine with him doing that because she actually has the interest in him? That's the main thing I wonder about right now, because her interaction with him was very suspicious. But that's left for another day, because we didn't get much information, which is kind of sad, because this series is almost over. I think it's only going to have 12, 13 episodes, somewhere around in there, and the series is almost done, and that means that we're not really going to get any characterization to the maid at all. Like, we're probably going to maybe have one episode focus on her, but we're not going to get much of her, which is kind of sad, because I would like to know more about her situation of why she's being a maid, even though she's some form of high noble. I would like to know more, but sadly, I don't think we're going to get that. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this episode of Shomin Sample. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.